Today on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we'll review the Tigers' victory against the pride of Hofstra. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Lacrosse Report starts now.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
Wise Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and is locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Hello and welcome to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas. This past Saturday, the Tigers defeated the pride of Hofstra by a score of 10-8 to win the regular season CAA championship. Let's take a look and see how it happened. The Tigers got 4 goals from senior Tyler Young. That was a career high for him. As a matter of fact, he only had 4 goals coming into the game. The Tigers go on to win by that 10-8 score. And joining me now, as always, the head coach of the Tigers, Shawn Nadelen. And Coach, it was senior day at Johnny Unitas Stadium. You had 15 points, 10 goals, 5 assists, all by seniors. I'd say they showed up.
It's about time. No, it's couldn't be more happy for them, you know, to kind of play their last regular season game in Unitas Stadium and have the day that they had, you know, for the team to have success, but also what that game meant in regards to being able to earn the CAA regular season championship and host the tournament here at Unitas. You know, it was great for those guys, and then, you know, kidding aside, you know, those guys have been at times sporadic throughout this season, but for them to really step up, you know, when we needed them most, especially obviously that's on the offensive end, that's what we need going forward. You know, a consistent basis of that, a consistent production of that, and, you know, for us to be successful, that's how we need to play.
Tyler Young was named the CAA Player of the Week for his 4 goals. Now, last week, he had to play defensive midi because Jack Adams was out with an injury. So this is a kid that's been very versatile for you his entire career at Towson.
Absolutely. His freshman year, he was pegged on the first offensive midfield line. Due to injury and then shuffling of the offense, we moved him back to defensive midfield his freshman year, and he's ping-ponged back and forth. We actually had him repping out all defensive reps last week until we got to, I believe it was Thursday or Friday, and then he got into the offensive stuff. He's a really bright kid, intelligent, so we're not worried about his IQ out there. It's more just getting him the reps that he needs to get comfortable in the situations and the areas of the field that we need him to.
Coming off the loss to Fairfield 2 weeks ago, what was practice like this past week leading up to the Hofstra game?
It was solid. The guys understood that we really let one go up at Fairfield. It wasn't that we played poorly. We just didn't finish plays off. We may not have played with a great deal of excitement and focus. I think that was definitely a concern. So this past week of practice, we talked about in regards to, being able to start the game, extremely aggressive, in attack mode, and obviously very focused, So when you're in a position to make a play, ground ball, a crisp pass, a stop, all those things, you need to be mentally ready for that and right from the start. So we talked about that, and I think we did a decent job of that, throughout the game against Hofstra, but we can always improve upon it.
Josh Byrne came into the game. He's probably the favorite to be the CAA Player of the Year. You guys held him to 1 goal, and it was kind of a garbage goal at that. Talk about how your defense shut him down during the afternoon.
It was a team effort. He got the ball, and we did a decent job on him. He was able to get some edges on us and get into the interior of our defense, but we were trailing him well enough. We slid to his body in a decent way where we tied him up. We weren't able to get his hands free. You got to pay attention to him, but they got a lot of other weapons out there that can do some damage. So when he did have the ball, I thought we did a decent job on him, and then tried to really make it a challenge for him to get his hands free to get a shot off, which obviously he's very good at, and it was a good team effort.
The thing that impressed me, maybe more than the game itself, was when the game was over, your team didn't act like they had just won a championship. They just were, I'm not going to say nonchalant, obviously happy that the game was over and that you had won, but there was no jumping around, no, hey, we're champions, whatever. Obviously, this is a team that thinks this is just one step of where you want to go, that it wasn't, the end-all and be-all right there.
Right, absolutely, and that's, I'm glad that they're at that point, that we've had success, and understand that this is part of the process, part of the season, in regards to, fortunately, we had already known that we're playing in the CAA tournament. If this game, the Hofstra game, maybe it was one that was like, we have to win, in order to get to the CAA tournament, you might have maybe seen a different response.
Right.
But, obviously we were already in. But again, it's, we expect to step on the field every game day and win, regardless of the opponent, regardless if they're undefeated or, don't have a win on their record. We expect to step on the field, play a great game, play Towson team lacrosse, and come out with a win. And, our guys did that, and we know it takes a lot of effort. They're excited about the win, but to your point, it wasn't like, we just won a national championship. It was, it was a well-earned win against a tough team. We know we got some lacrosse ahead of us. It's business as usual, and be able to push forward from there.
How important is it to host this tournament? Or is it just, it's good, but
you
it's
got good
not...
and bad. You got good and bad. Hosting it, it's comfortable being in the locker room, your kind of routine, you know what you're getting out of the athletic training room. The guys are familiar with, obviously, their daily routine. Being on the road is nice too, because you can control a lot of the environment. You're in a hotel, your guys can get rest, you can control the meals that your guys are eating, making sure they're not going to, fast food spots all the time, that whole week, stuff like that. So there's positives in both, but we're definitely excited to be hosting, especially with the women's tournament being here. I know we made the CAA's job very easy. The commissioner, Joey D, was very excited for that. So we're pumped about the opportunity.
All right, well, that will do it for this edition of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. Join us next time when Coach Nadelen and I will talk about the Tigers' first game in the semifinals against Drexel. For head coach Shawn Nadelen, I'm Spiro Morekas. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.